Break, and I'd like to recognize Eileen McNichol.
Thank you very much. I am Eileen McNichol, as you said, your Human Resources Director. And the Human Resources mission is to partner with divisions and departments to hire, compensate, support, and develop a diverse workforce that's dedicated to delivering high-quality services to our community. The departments that we have in the division are HR Administration, Employment, Compensation and Classification, Benefits, which we're not going to be talking about today, and Work Environment and Employee Development. With HR Administration, we are a Tier 2, which means we are there to help support the Tier 1 functions. Our mission in HR Administration is to support the total reward strategy, providing a positive employee experience through compensation, benefits, work environment, and employee development programs and services. The programs that we provide with HR Administration are strategic planning, records administration, and policy interpretation. Our purpose is to provide proactive HR programs and services promoting effectiveness, productivity, consistency, compliance, and efficiencies. We do this for all county employees, and our added value is to increase attraction, employee engagement, and retention, and we do this with 4.8 full-time equivalents. As I said, HR Administration serves all of our employees, and all of our performance measures are captured in all of the other HR departments' performance measures, which I'll review. We do have one program housed in HR Administration, and that's Retirement Appreciation. We recognized 66 retirees last year, and we also have our employee recognition costs covered under HR Administration. Our budget is very flat. There's no change from last year. Moving on to employment, the mission with employment is to provide a positive employee experience through attraction services that offer opportunity, growth, and fulfillment. We provide consistent and compliant employment processes. Our purpose is to guide all county departments through all aspects of the hiring process, ensuring consistency and compliance, and we do this for all departments and applicants. Our added value is to improve our ability to attract and hire a diverse and highly qualified workforce, reducing our legal exposure. And we do this with two full-time equivalents. As I said, we serve all employees and applicants, and our performance measures for employment are our time to fill positions and offers made to offers accepted. In 2015, we started tracking this, and so the data that we have is from June to December. But in 2016, we expect to see these numbers be much more reflective of reality. In 2015, our time to fill positions less than or equal to 30 days was 39%. And in 2015, we had 1.02 offers made to one position accepted, which is not too bad. But again, that was only for 6 months. We also do background checks, drug screening. We did that for 578 offers in 2015, and we tested over 1,200 applicants that required the testing. We don't have a specific performance measure for those items, and we had over 3,500 potential applicants or participants at exposure at the recruitment events that we went to last year, and there's not a specific performance measurement for that. Our budget request is relatively flat. There is just a one-time commodities change where we have some money this year. It's a one-time expense that we will not have next year, and that's to help cover additional background checks, testing costs, job fairs, and we may move some of that money as well to help pay for the new proxy badge system. Under compensation, our mission is to ensure a positive employee experience through attraction and retention services that provide guidance, accuracy, and objectivity. We provide compensation and position management. We work to provide a compensation plan that provides a satisfied and engaged workforce through attracting, motivating, and retaining qualified employees. We do this for all current and potential employees. The value that we add is the pay structure is regularly reviewed and audited for compliance and viability, promoting equity throughout the organization, and we do this with 3 full-time equivalents. The other services that we provide through compensation are workforce planning, exception request reviews, reclassification reviews, garnishments, salary structure, market studies. We maintain our metrics, and this next year, in 2016, we're going to be working on career pathways. We're in the process of moving our FML administration to our work environment department, but at the time of this budget work, it currently is housed in compensation. The position that manages the family medical leave has also taken on the responsibility of the ADA coordinator, so they will also be moving that. We will be moving that to the work environment department. The performance measures for compensation are voluntary turnover, retention of new hires, and total retention. In 2015, our voluntary turnover was 14.4%, our retention of new hires was 78.5%, and our total retention was 86.1%. We do not maintain a performance measure for FMLA. We did move $300 between contractuals and commodities. Other than that, there was no change for the budget. And for work environment, our mission is to ensure a positive employee experience through attraction and retention programs and services, providing engagement, fairness, and assuring trust. Our first function for work environment is engagement and retention. Our purpose is to help develop and support work environments that facilitate providing high-quality services to the community. We provide this to all of our county departments, and the value that is added is we help reduce turnover costs and increasing employee engagement. We have one employee that this position is currently vacant, but we have a candidate that we're hoping you will approve on Wednesday that we will be able to fill this position. Some of the other services that are provided is we do employee experience indicator reports, and this is a consolidated report for each department giving an analysis on the employee's work environment from all the surveys that we do for new employee orientation, the exit interviews, transfer interviews, the employee experience surveys, and all of our metrics for turnover, retention, and absenteeism. We do this annually. We are just starting it this year. We will do it annually for each department and at mid-year for those departments that have a higher than a 10% turnover. We also have our employee experience assessment programs, which is in essence a stay interview that we conduct with the departments to determine what their work environment is looking like and to help them develop programs to address any areas of concern. The second function with work environment is conflict management, mediation, and internal complaints. The purpose of this is to bridge the employee-employer relationship, and we offer this to all employees for the county. The value added is we help prevent potential litigation costs and increase employee satisfaction. We have one employee that provides this service to the county, and this position also helps review, edit, and create personnel policies. The performance measures that we use at work environment are voluntary turnover, retention of new hires, total retention, reduction in absenteeism, receiving those who receive a 75% satisfied rating from our 30-day new employee orientation onboarding survey. And in 2015, our results were we had a 14.4% voluntary turnover. Our retention of new hires was 79.5%. Our total retention was 86.1%. Our reduction in absenteeism was 12.7%, and we had a 79% of our new employees who completed their 30-day new employee survey satisfaction of a 75% or above. Now, starting in 2017, as we get ready to launch our supervisory competency certification program, we'll also be tracking the percentage of our supervisory staff who received 80% of 3 ratings or better in our surveys that we sent out. There were 393 employees that we helped with our employee relations management, though we do not have a specific measurement just for that. They share the same measurements as the work environment management measures. And we had 335 employees that we recognized this year in service awards. We moved $393 between contractuals and commodities. Other than that, nothing changed. And the last department is employee development. The mission is to ensure a positive employee experience through programs that inspire, engage, and help employees achieve success. We do this by providing training and development. Our purpose is to provide employees the skill sets needed to deliver high-quality public service. And we do this for all county employees, and we do it with 2 full-time employees. The employee department serves all of our employees, and our performance measures are voluntary turnover, retention of new hires, and total retention. In 2015, again, voluntary turnover was 14.4%, retention of new hires was 79.5%, total retention was 86.1%. And again, in 2017, we will start reporting on our supervisors that receive a 3 rating or better from the Supervisor Competency Certification Program. We had 523 new employees in 2015 who went through new employee orientation, and our performance measure for new employee orientation was, again, 75% people getting above a 75% satisfaction rating from the 30-day new employee orientation survey. And in 2015, we had a 79% rating of people who were satisfied with that new employee orientation and onboarding services. Our training classes, in 2015, we had 2,952 employees attend 236 classes. 76% of those were provided by county personnel, and 24% were outsourced. Again, in 2017, we'll be starting to report on the Supervisory Competency Certification Program. The majority of the services that were provided by IMPAC, our Employee Assistance Program, were the training classes. And our tuition reimbursement service, 39 employees were served in 2015. Those are the employees who applied for and completed the process to receive their tuition reimbursement. There was no increases for the employee development budget except personnel. And for our qualitative efficiency stories, in each of our HR departments, due to the extraordinary professional experience and talent in HR, we've been able to provide greater efficiencies, saving over $340,000 if the same services would have had to have been contracted out. With employee development, through curriculum development and conducting training, you can see the savings there. For benefits, there was the benefit and ACA compliance of a savings of over $81,000, compensation pay analysis of $27,500, and conducting investigations in work environment of over $30,000. We were able to provide our employees with high-level training, such as the competency-based supervisor-certified competency program, ensuring full compliance with all benefits, including the Affordable Care Act, without the aid of a broker, conduct our own compensation pay analysis, looking at compression and progression issues for the entire pay structure, and ensure prompt, thorough, and fair investigations. For our quantitative stories, in 2015, we started managing our own unemployment claims instead of paying a law firm to represent us. And Cindy Roeder, our HR specialist, handles our unemployment hearings, saving our taxpayers almost $5,000 annually. Our employment department analyzed that 72% of our applicants do not complete the required testing, thus reducing our pool of qualified applicants. Amanda Cahill, our employment assistant, recognized our testing hours, limited number of computers, and inconvenient parking helped contribute to this issue. So she developed a plan to partner with the Wichita Workforce Center, which provides access to many more computers, ample free parking, and over 44 hours a week of testing time. On Tuesdays and Thursdays, those testing hours extend to 7 p.m. The partnership will save our taxpayers a little over $1,000 annually. And in our benefits department, to ensure compliance with required notices, we estimated that we would have to spend a little over $8,000 on just mailing costs to mail out documents to our employees who have our benefits. Heather Bell, our benefits manager, created an e-signature campaign to solicit our employees to allow us to email them the required notices at their personal email address instead of mailing them to their homes, which was required. Her efforts converted over 53% of our benefits eligible employees to e-signatures, saving our taxpayers a little over $4,000 annually. And these savings totaled over $10,000 annually. Our budget is not changing from last year. We have no decision packages, no revenue packages, and no alternative reduction packages. The only change is for the personnel costs. I would be happy to answer any questions you may have.
All right. Well, thank you, Eileen, for the presentation. Commissioners, your questions? On slide 7, offers made to offers accepted 1.02 to 1.
Yes, sir?
What's your goal there? I mean, that to me is a really amazing number. I would expect it to be much higher than that.
It would be, and part of the problem with that is that we are going to be working this year to establish better reporting on that. That is based on some of the data that we have, but Adele Dunn, our employment manager, is going to be working with her Synergy group to be getting actual numbers, because that is not reflective of how many offers really have to be made to have an offer accepted. It's one of the things that we're looking at, and I honestly, I don't remember. Oh, wait. No, I don't have that. Do you know what that is? I forget what the goal is. I think it's 1 to 1 1/4, I think.
Well, actually, the way this is calculated looks to me like you're.
It's really good now, but it's not accurate.
Okay, that's what I was. I guess
Right, it's not accurate.
To me, it's an amazing number. I would have. It's very
Yes.
surprising, actually.
Yes,
And I thought, man, you can't really improve on that if that's accurate. But that's
it's not.
Okay.
But it is the data that we have, so I needed to report that.
okay. Well, if it's not accurate, I guess
No,
I would
I'm
not
sorry.
report it. Anyway,
Maybe I
appreciate
should put that in there and say pending.
Can you talk about career pathways again on page 9?
Yes. That is a program that we are going to be working on this year for 2016. And that is where we're going to be working to enhance our tuition reimbursement program, partnering with WATC, partnering with WSU to help develop career pathways for our employees so that they can have a view into the future of what employment could be like for them here. We haven't completely finished that plan. It was initially started a year ago with some basic structure, but we need to put more work around that, and that is actually the next program that's up in the queue.
Okay, that's good. And I think I'm just remembering the number. I think you said 36 employees took advantage of the tuition reimbursement program we have right now.
That's
What's
correct.
the total budget for that? What, 60?
$35,000.
$35,000.
Right.
And so, can I just simply divide that out and I can see how much each employee?
The max that an employee can get is $900 a year. And we have to divide that by 3 semesters or trimesters so that people don't run out of the money that's available to them.
And they also have to submit, I guess, a plan well in advance on what they're planning to do to be, no?
They just have to put a request in for the money, and then at the end of the semester, they have to send their grades and their receipt, and they get reimbursed.
But the more people in the program doesn't change. In other words, more people in the program reduces their benefits.
Yes.
It's capped.
Yes.
Okay. I guess I have concerns about the way that's set up. I know you're working on it. So
Yes, we are.
Leave it alone. On your retention numbers, is that for 1 year?
Which slide are you talking about?
Well, for example, new hires you said have a.
Oh.
Or I forget what page it's on now, but
Whoop.
I'll find it.
Total retention on like
Well,
11?
for example, the retention of new hires 79.5%. So it means basically 1 out of every 5 quits over what period of time?
It is within, let me look at that, with less than 1 year of service.
So we lose 1/5 of the new hires in less than a year.
Yes.
Wow.
And that's one of the reasons why we enhanced our new employee orientation. And the more important thing is that we're surveying people on 30, 90, 180, and 365 days to get their feedback on not only new employee orientation, but much more importantly, the onboarding process that they go through in their department. And based on that information, we're putting that information into the departmental indicator report and working with those departments to identify the things that are not working for our new employees, the problems that they're identifying and telling us about.
I'm not against the new employee orientation, so don't take my question incorrectly here. But did you capture a baseline and see whether or not that actually has an impact on this number here, this retention number? Has the retention number changed as a result of the new orientation program?
I would have to look at that and say, because we have the numbers from 2014, and we have this number, and I don't have it in front of me.
I guess I'd like you to do some analysis on that
Sure.
to find out if that's actually making any difference
Sure.
at all. And I guess my last question would be, I'm a little surprised by the comment on, if I can find it here, slide 24. Our employee department analyzed that 72% of our applicants do not complete the required testing.
Yes.
That is, okay, so these are people theoretically that want jobs, and they have, where's the testing being conducted? Why somebody?
It's in HR
huge
right
number.
now. It's in HR right now where we conduct the pre-employment testing. And part of the problem is that the hours that we have. We don't have it 8 hours a day every day. And that's why we determined that the best thing that we could do would be to partner with Wichita Workforce so that they have tremendous amounts of parking there, and they have lots of computers, and they have over 44 hours a week where people can come in and test. Part of the challenge, I think, and from what I understand from employment, is that a lot of our applicants have jobs, and so they can't like take off just to come test, because then they have to take off to hopefully have an interview. And so it was a deterrent. But now, by partnering with the Wichita Workforce Center, we'll be able to provide not only Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, but on Tuesdays and Thursdays, they have extended hours till 7 o'clock p.m. So hopefully we will be able to see a larger number of our applicants become qualified. And part of the challenge with that is some of the departments require the testing to become qualified, to be a qualified applicant. We're also working with some of the departments to try to help them interview people, select people that they're interested in, and then have those people test, because then we can get more applicants in for them to evaluate. Just kind of a changing of the way we do things.
So this is, the 72% is an old number.
It's last year's number.
And I'd like to see the next, once this thing is settled into the Wichita Workforce, what was it called?
The Wichita Workforce Center.
The Wichita Workforce Center, once it's settled there, it'd be nice to see a new number, see if this number changes.
I will work
You
to
make a comment,
put
this
that in.
partnership will save taxpayers $1,099 annually.
Right.
How's it saving money?
Because we don't have to have one of the contracts we have with one of the testing companies, the same testing that's available will be able to be done at the Wichita Workforce Center.
Okay.
It's the same type of testing.
Other questions, commissioners? Commissioner Peterjohn?
Yeah, just a minor point on slide 25. On the employment line, the percentage needs to be recalculated. About 0.2%.
Okay.
0.2%, but minor quibble.
Okay.
Can you talk for a minute, Eileen, about the large number of applicants who don't complete the required testing? Is this in a few departments? Can we kind of de-aggregate the total data to see if it's, I mean, one of the challenges I view in terms of the employment end is we've got some departments where we've had relatively high turnover and other ones with low turnover. I was curious if the applicant pool situation was this, if the folks who don't complete the applications for certain positions kind of follow in with these same departments or not.
I'm not sure if I'm understanding your question.
Well, let me try and be more specific. Let's say we've got Department A that has high turnover and Department B that has low turnover. I was curious if people are applying for A or B, if the ones who don't complete the applications are people trying to get into either the higher or the low turnover departments. And if that's a reflection of some of the challenges that exist in those departments.
I think the positions that have high turnover don't have a problem having applicants so much, but I think the applicants are reduced by this amount of people who can't come in or don't choose to come in and test. And so the applicant pool is a little smaller. It's possible that this applicant pool could be people, as I said, who are already employed. And so it's possible that that could be a higher quality applicant that might do us good. So I think it will be good next year to see if we have an improvement in the percentage of applicants that are qualified to be applicants. And there are a lot of aspects that impact the turnover that we see in these departments. And all of these areas that we've talked about, compensation, pay, work environment, and employee development, all of them contribute to that. And especially, I think, with the supervisor competency certification program that we're launching and getting ready to do, I think that's going to make a huge impact. Don't know that we'll necessarily see it next year, but I do think in the next 2 or 3 years, 4 years, I think we're going to see a real big improvement in that.
Well, it's good. What gets measured gets managed. Thank you.
All right, other questions, commissioners? All right, I guess we may ask you some questions later, but I think we're good for now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, Mr. Manager, the next thing on our list looks like it's county clerk. Is there someone here to represent the clerk's office yet?
We'll give them a call. We're about 20 minutes ahead of schedule.
That's fine, that's
we'll
fine.
see if they can get here.
No problem. Let's just take a 5-minute break then, if that's okay. We'll give him time to get settled. So about 26 after the hour, we'll see if he's here.
Thank you. Felt like?
All right, we're back from break. I am Mr. Warren Commissioner. I'm sure he'll be back in just a moment. So welcome our county clerk, Kelly Arnold.
Yep, thank you. We'll go ahead and start, and if I need to go back over anything for Commissioner Ranzo, I will. Kelly Arnold, your Sedgwick County clerk, and I have my budget presentation here for you today. Talk a little bit about who we are, what we do, who we serve. We have actually a new mission that we came up with today, a mission statement. And I put it in here, and it's the Sedgwick County Clerk's Office strives to promote public confidence by consistently serving each customer with courtesy, respect, and professionalism. This is one of the many projects I had included my whole office staff of coming together and trying to work on what is it that we as a county clerk's office do, and adequately we try to reflect that. And so I was proud of our team being able to come up with this new mission statement. We have 2 divisions in our office, the clerk administration and tax administration. So who do we serve? We serve the citizens and residents of Sedgwick County, realtors, title companies, the State of Kansas Department of Revenue and Wildlife Parks and Tourism, Sedgwick County Township, cities, USDs, and improvement districts. The clerk administration administers the oath of office, maintains county records and licenses. We are kind of an agent on behalf of the Kansas Department of Wildlife. We do licensing sales. We prepare homestead tax refunds. We are the official secretary to the Board of County Commissioners. We administer contracts, resolutions, and the BOCC minutes. And for numbers in this division, this part of the division, our 2016 revised numbers were a total of 356,229, and this year is 343,411, a little bit of decrease in that. The other division we have is the tax administration. We set the tax rate, the mill levy. We assist in preparing 80 taxing authority budgets. We assign special assessments, maintain all land records, process real estate property transfers and corrections. And in this, our 2016 revised number was 788,846, and this year it is 799,960. A little shift between the 2 departments is why one was down and one was up. But our overall clerk summary, our 2016 adopted was 1.145, and this year we are down or asking for $2,000 less so far for $1,143,000. This is ridiculous.
Oh, no.
Somebody has tampered with my presentation.
Where's the media when we need them now, Kelly?
I sent this straight to communications.
If we could get this, if we could put this up on the county website, can you imagine the opportunities this could provide?
I think this this mean I should get at least another $100,000 for my budget.
I don't think so.
No kidding. I call for an investigation into this tampering.
You don't need an investigation. I'll confess.
All right.
That was really funny. I would like to know.
I will remember that for a long, long time.
Yeah, I know. Lindsay, can you tell us where in the book we're supposed to be here for the?
Oh yeah, for my presentation. Yeah.
I'd actually like to know
Page 30 of Volume 1.
page 30 of Volume 1, and you have no decision packages for us?
No, have no changes, no requests, no anything really different this time. You know.
You have 18.5 FTE?
17.5, one is unfunded. Yeah, so I have one unfunded position. I was going to say it's 17.5 funded.
Okay, and that's working for you, okay?
Yeah.
How
yeah,
many jurisdictions do you actually have? I mean, you said, you listed a number of them here, townships, cities, USDs, improvement districts, but that's not all there is. There's all kinds of other districts, right?
There's actually, and this would be everything, even those that don't tax, about 103 ballpark total jurisdictions. About 80 of them are taxing jurisdictions. That's, of course, your schools and cities and drainage district, library district, watershed, townships, the county. Yeah. Cemeteries, that's another one.
Are you still doing licenses for other things as well? Do you do marriage licenses? And
We don't do marriage as through the courts. We do, most of our licensing is Department of Wildlife. We do some business licensing for Sedgwick County, transient license, and of course our entertainer licensing as well.
okay. And
Cereal malt beverage, that's a big one.
I don't know if I have any questions. Any questions, commissioners? I see silence. There must be no questions.
Okay. Well, I look forward to testifying in the hearing on the intrusion into my budget that will be held.
All right, and I think we'll just say you're good to go. Thank you so much. For
All right,
the presentation.
always available if you guys have any follow-up questions. Happy to help.
Very good. All right.
You missed my misbehavior.
I'll review the tape.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be good for you. Okay, so I know we're continuing to run ahead of schedule, which is great. The next thing up is Division of Information and Operations, Wes Ellington. Is he? Oh, there he is. I didn't see him there. He snuck in. All right. Well, if you're ready, I think we're ready for you as well. So I'd like to.
I'm waiting on the handouts. They haven't shown up yet, but
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's ask Lindsay where we're supposed to go in the book next, and maybe they'll.
Okay. Commissioners, we will be on page 115 of your Volume 1. And then DIO does have a couple of decision package requests. And so we'll be on page 30 of your Volume 2 when we get to that point.
Okay.
And with that, Wes, I will turn it over to you.
okay. Good afternoon, Commissioners. My name is Wes Ellington, and I am your IT Infrastructure Director as well as your Acting Chief Information Officer for the Division of Information and Operations for Sedgwick County. I want to thank you for the opportunity to review DIO's budget development plan. So I'll move on into the first slide. DIO's mission statement is to make information available and make technology work. We do this through 5 departmental org units that consists of Operations, Business Solutions Group, Enterprise Resource Planning, Geographic Information Systems, and IT Infrastructure. DIO is a Tier 2 division supporting core software and infrastructure implementations and needs for all Sedgwick County departments. DIO currently has 97 FTEs, all specializing in one of the 5 departmental areas that I mentioned earlier. First department I would like to discuss is the Operations Department. Operations strives to consistently meet and exceed customer expectations in all 4 of its service areas. These service areas consist of printing, traditional mail services, centralized call center, and records management services. First area within operations is the printing service, which works with Sedgwick County departments to print both small and large-scale jobs for their customers. Printing services printed around 4.7 million images in 2015. The next area is the mailroom that works with departments to plan and schedule large-scale mailings. This service area processed over 1 million pieces of mail in 2015. The Combined Call Center is a centralized one-stop shop to answer questions and address issues with citizens of Sedgwick County. This area is trained to answer questions for the treasurer, appraiser, TAG, ComCare departments, and processed over 298,000 calls in 2015. The call center's goal is to triage incoming calls, to handle as many as possible to reduce the wait time of our citizens, and to pass on any calls requiring more in-depth research to backup staff within the appropriate departments. Records Management Services manages both physical and digital records for Sedgwick County and works to lead the county's compliance with these records with the Kansas Open Records Act. Budget requests for 2017 for the service areas of operations are as follows. 2016 revised amount was $2,623,768. Requested amount for 2017 is $2,452,241 for a decrease of 6.5% overall. This slide shows the Fund Center totals for operations. The next department is BSG, or Business Solutions Group. This group supports the technical business needs for our Tier 1, 2, and 3 divisions and departments. This group is responsible for implementing and maintaining all aspects of county-owned applications as well as the development of custom applications when the need arises. The department is made up of the following service areas: Business Solutions Service, Database Administration, Internet Services, Document Management, and the Technology Learning Center. The Business Solutions Service Group is mainly staffed with the application management employees whose primary responsibility is to maintain and upgrade departmental applications as well as keeping updated versioning maintained to keep the county software within windows of compatibility. The Database Administration Service is responsible for installing, maintaining the SQL databases for Sedgwick County departments. Some of the larger databases they manage belong to departments like the Treasurer's Office, Appraiser's Office, Sheriff's Department, District Attorney, and ComCare. This group supports 709 databases currently for Sedgwick County. The Internet Services Group supports and maintains the county's internet and intranet sites, where 40 county agencies and departments have websites for citizens to access. This group is involved with the support of both our internal and externally facing websites to support county employee and Sedgwick County citizens' needs. The Document Management Service is responsible for assisting Sedgwick County departments in determining their imaging and document management needs. This area will assess and recommend workflow processes to best accommodate their needs as efficiently as possible. The service area leverages our OnBase application as the document storage application for Sedgwick County. Over 580,000 images have been scanned into OnBase this first quarter of 2016. The TLC provides an internally structured learning environment for training on specific standard desktop applications supported at Sedgwick County. This mainly consists of Microsoft Office products as well as custom classes as needed to train on specific applications used within Sedgwick County. Budget request for 2017 for the service areas of BSG are as follows. 2016 revised amount was $3,083,015. Requested amount for 2017 is $2,829,104 for a decrease of 8.2% overall. And this slide shows the Fund Center totals for BSG. The ERP group, or Enterprise Resource Planning, is responsible for maintaining the large ERP landscape. Their main goal is to improve governmental transaction and decision-making through business process engineering, business analytics, and innovative application of ERP technology. This ERP group is key to ensuring this large landscape of applications is patched and upgraded to keep the system supported and within the window of compatibility with other interfacing systems. 43% of the servers that make up all the SAP systems that were currently running on old server hardware that were no longer supported by the vendor have been upgraded. These servers were virtualized and installed on the county's virtual VMware servers, which saved money on hardware costs. Of course, new servers offer much improved resources, faster processors, more storage and memory, etc., and greatly improve the performance and reliability of the SAP systems running on these servers. Additionally, while this process was being implemented, software upgrades occurred that will keep the SAP system supported well into the year 2020. Budget requests for 2017 for the service areas of ERP are as follows. 2016 revised amount was $2,155,865. Requested amount for 2017 is $2,260,584 for an increase of 4.9% overall. Fund Center totals for ERP. The next department is the GIS department, which provides mapping and analysis services to county staff and the citizens of Sedgwick County. These services range from data development and conversion, data queries, geospatial analysis, and physical address management. This department is key to providing mapping data to the appraiser's office, county clerk, register of deeds, sheriff, EMS, MABCD, and 911 systems. GIS also integrates with several of our Tier 1 and 2 departments like CAD 911 systems, Appraiser's Orion system, and the Sheriff Adam application. This service maintains over 4 million geographic features for Sedgwick County departments. Budget request for 2017 for the service areas of GIS. 2016 revised amount was $911,499. Requested amount for 2017 is $920,567 for an increase of 1%. The Fund Center totals for GIS. The last department is IT infrastructure. This department is responsible for installation and maintaining the core IT landscape for Sedgwick County. This department installs and maintains systems like storage array units, or SANs, switches, routers, telephone systems, servers, and the desktop support to address local PC issues. This department is made up of 3 key service areas, which consist of the Help Desk Customer Support Service, the IT Security and Networking Service, and the System Administration and Telecommunications Service. The first service I will review is our Help Desk and Customer Support Group. This group is responsible for answering calls at our centralized call center for technology issues and questions. When issues cannot be resolved by our call center technicians, our customer support staff is leveraged to work the issue. The next service area is our IT Security and Networking Group. This group installs, configures, maintains core firewall switch and routing technologies that are necessary to connect all county departments into our domain and data centers. This group is very involved with security and compliance policies with regards to Tier 1 departments, as well as ensuring our domain environment's integrity is secure from malicious activity. The System Administration and Telecommunications Group is responsible for managing the 493-plus server and storage arrays that store all county data, as well as the IP telephone system for all county users and departments. A key technology that this group leverages is the storage array technology along with the virtualization platforms that run our virtual server environment. This technology allows greater redundancy and turnaround times with regards to installing new server systems more efficiently. Budget requests for 2017 for the service areas of IT infrastructure are as follows. 2016 revised amount was $3,604,986. Requested amount for 2017 is $3,589,956 for a decrease of 0.4% overall. The Fund Center totals for IT infrastructure. The next slide I'd like to share with you describes two DIO efficiency stories. The first example is the county's Internet Access Redesign Project. This past year, I tasked our networking group to redesign how we interface with the Internet, specifically to redesign how our outbound Internet traffic is handled to increase speed for our Sedgwick County users to the Internet destinations, and replace 2 end-of-life Internet routers. Originally, this infrastructure consisted of 1 connection running at 50 meg and 1 at 10. The 10 meg connection was a manual failsafe installed years ago, and the 10 meg could only really be leveraged for specific traffic. Networking came up with a design using a technology called BGP for load balancing and worked with our internet service provider to ensure we were compatible with their infrastructure. Once the design was complete, we implemented the design during one of our scheduled tech weekends several months ago and were able to increase both connections to 100 meg each and load balance the service to provide a much higher level of internet service to our county departments. Bottom line is we went from a single 50 meg connection to 2 load balanced 100 meg connections out to the internet. This improved our county's connection speeds to areas like the state of Kansas for tag offices, as well as other departments that depend on internet connectivity to accomplish their day-to-day work. This also provided a more redundant internet infrastructure in the event that one internet connection goes offline in one of the data centers. We would have the other one that would carry the load. Another win that was part of this project from an infrastructure standpoint was that our internet service provider upgraded all the infrastructure on their side to be able to handle the increased bandwidth, and were able to consolidate the DMARC or entry location to our data center, to our 510 data center, where it could ride the existing UPS and cooling that we have in that data center. The second one was our core router redesign, it was about a year project, and it kind of gained momentum in the last few months. Several months ago, I tasked the county's networking group to see if it would be possible to redesign the core switch and routing environments to reduce the complexity as well as costs. Lance Steinert, with our networking group, came up with a plan that would do this, but was short a physical fiber connection, and installing that would outweigh the benefits. Lance and Scott Plank reviewed the existing connections and found an abandoned cable that was repaired that could be used. When this is implemented in a month or two, this will do several things to save money and resources. Reduce the complexity to manage core switch and routing routines. Saves the county just under $40,000 as well as $3,386 in yearly maintenance on this existing hardware, and simplifies future WAN connections or outlying areas to a layer 2 rather than a layer 3 routing technology. We have 2 decision packages and 1 alternative reduction to review. The first decision package is the tax system Aumentum maintenance funding. This is funding to cover a portion of the software and hardware maintenance fee for Aumentum, the county's tax system. This maintenance is key to keeping the tax system up to date with patches and enhancements to respond to county tax process changes. The request is for $250,000, and there are 0 FTEs impacted. The next decision package is the aerial photo flight for GIS. Every 3 years, Sedgwick County and the City of Wichita partner and coordinate the issuance of an RFP for aerial photo flights. The overall cost is split based on the square mileage needed by each entity. The next flight is scheduled for spring of 2017, so if this is approved, the RFP would be issued this fall. The request is for $73,000, and there are 0 FTEs. The alternative reduction package includes the Technology Learning Center. Over the years, the organization's need for an in-house technology learning center for training and Microsoft Office products has diminished, as the majority of staff now hired by departments come with the skills necessary to utilize Office applications. With the overall number of employees utilizing the TLC, 221 in 2015, the need for this service is no longer there. Anticipated one-time savings is $91,123, 0 revenue, and there is 1 FTE impacted. The DIO division summary is as follows. 2016 revised amount of $12,946,794, with a 2017 request for $12,387,142, for an overall decrease of 4.32%. This slide reflects the total of the decision packages of $323,000. This slide reflects the total for the alternative reduction of $91,123. Again, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to share with you the proposed budget for 2017, and my staff and I would be happy to answer any questions if you have any.
All right, Commissioners, thank you, Wes Ellington, for the good presentation. Commissioners, any questions? Commissioner Peter John.
Let me just ask, we had a earlier discussion about an aerial flight and making purchases through the appraiser side. Have you ever talked with our appraiser and help me understand the differences between the flights that you're proposing here versus what the appraiser's office is interested in having conducted?
John, you may have to help me out here, but I'll attempt it. There's 2 different processes. The pictometry process is more of a photography that captures side, front views from the air. The type of photography that the GIS needs is called orthorectification, which is more of a top-down for their applications. So the 2 aren't really compatible. There was some work done, I think, several years ago, where pictometry had a process where they said that they could run some process against their pictometry photos and convert them to ortho images, which it didn't work. It was the quality was not sufficient for the requirements that the GIS department needs to put into their applications. So yes, it has been looked at, but the 2 are totally different technologies that serve 2 different purposes.
Let me ask, if we're looking strictly top-down, and John, if you need to jump in here and help Wes out, please feel free. If I want top-down pictures, I go all over the world with Google Earth. Can't we just use that?
Well, yeah, you could, but you wouldn't want to base any of the information that we collect on that imagery. So with aerial imagery, there's all sorts of resolutions involved and standards for accuracy. And so Google Earth, you're going to be able to see everything on the ground, but it won't be in the place where that object actually is. So the orthorectification process is a process that makes sure that if you're seeing a tree, that tree is within plus or minus a few feet of where that tree actually is. With Google Earth, it's pretty much a rectified picture that doesn't affect accuracy to that degree.
Well, I don't know about trees, but I was assuming mainly like buildings or maybe streets.
Any
or-
object
so
you'd like
any
to
object you
mention,
could see from top
Yeah.
down. I mean,
Tree was an example. Any object that you're wanting to map, for instance, you'd
Okay.
want it in its most accurate position.
Well, is there a certain tolerance that they have to, with this process?
Plus minus 5 feet.
Okay. Well, I'm just trying to understand this a little bit better if we've
Okay.
been doing it on every 3 years basis. And so what do you do in the period between the 3-year flights in terms of changes that occur? I mean, if you need information, John.
We don't do anything. We suffer through those 3 years until we can get some new areas.
Say, okay, this is a picture as it was,
That's right.
let's say, 2.5 years ago, and we know it's changed since then, but,
And we hope to get money for another flight. That's all.
well, I was just trying to understand, in terms of how you get into the certain cycles, because that was one of the
Oh,
questions
okay.
I'd raised with the
Well, it
with
seems
the
like
appraiser.
this is probably the 9th or 10th flight I've been through. So I would say it's the sweet spot between being useful and not. And so 3 years has come about as about the perfect time to minimize the effects of bad data and still utilize the product to its fullest extent.
Well, is there a statutory requirement? I mean, the appraiser had there's I think, a provision in state law saying that they're supposed to be involved in conducting a reappraisal of every property, like every 6 years or 5 years, something like that, and that was part of their need
That's
for
right.
it. But you don't have anything like that.
No, the statute responsibility for the appraiser is linked to revisiting properties, and they're using the tool associated with those images to do so. With us, we support statutory processes such as parcel mapping and so forth, but we don't ourselves have a statutory responsibility to replace them at a regular interval.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you, Commissioner.
Thank you, John.
I was curious, I know we haven't heard the district attorney's presentation, I guess, until tomorrow morning, but we have heard it at the fiscal retreat we had in February. We know what's coming. They've talked about potentially hiring 3 folks to do some core requests, and they need a lot of computing stuff to do that. Is that reflected in this presentation anywhere? Are you anticipating anything for the DA in what you've requested this year?
No, sir.
So that'll be in addition. Again, I'm not sure how I know he's got 3 FTEs potentially, if I remember correctly, but in terms of his computing needs, that's not reflected anywhere.
No, it is not. We are working with Mr. Bennett currently. We have provided him with storage costs, and we have a workflow process to get the case files from the city through our existing infrastructure right now. So we are implementing that piece of it. But the thing that he is going to need in the future is storage for the video that he's anticipating coming across.
And so is he going to be is his presentation going to include that type of request?
I would assume so.
It's not in a current decision package.
Okay.
That's
And
something.
that's almost a CIP. I mean, I'm just thinking it might be a CIP type of consideration because it's
It also gets to what I was talking about the other day as part of that Tiger Team study of exactly what he needs. He's looking at personnel right now, but not the full
right.
structure and systems and applications and everything he needs from the police officer on the street all the way to it gets processed and stored. That's something he is looking at now. He's wanting to approach it as meeting emergent requirements.
The most of your stuff is being housed in the historic county courthouse. Is that correct?
I would say 65%. The rest is at 714.
Okay. I have heard. I guess I talked to some of the folks over there. They seem like they're pretty happy and their needs are being met and everything. But with respect to the 271 building, I think there's a floor over there that's got a lot of computing resources built into the building that would be possibly beneficial to DIO. Any thought to moving any of that from historic courthouse over to 271?
Yes, I worked on a study a year and a half ago with costs. The 4th floor is equipped with raised floor. It was the data center when it was the IRS building, so a lot of the infrastructure, brick and mortar, is already there. But what we ran into was replacing the HVAC systems, the cooling, the UPS that exists there would have to be totally replaced. And then when we started pushing the $1 million mark to get all that new equipment replaced, we walked away from it at that point.
Okay. Well, it's just a,
But we have looked at it,
okay.
and I'm happy to look at it again.
Well, we need to find efficiencies wherever we can get them.
Right.
One of the things I'd like to do is try to minimize how many buildings we're using and try to use the best spaces for the the most logical types of uses. And again, I know I'm probably in the minority on the commission here, but I don't. The plan that was discussed early on 271, I didn't agree with that. But again, I think DIO does make some sense to go onto that fourth floor over there, 271. So it's one of those things we'll probably need to work through whether that makes total sense or not. But I guess I just like to know that's not reflected anywhere. Those are really ideas that have no planning right now at all.
Correct.
All right. I just wanted to say also, I think you're doing a great job. I know this is your first year to be in your position. Is that right?
That is correct.
But you've been in DIO for a while. I assume.
15 years.
Okay. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for what you do here. I think you're doing a great job, and as being the first time at the top of the pyramid, I think you're doing a great job. So thank you for your presentation.
Thank you very much.
Any other questions or comments from commissioners? I don't think I see any. So I guess you're off the hook. Thank you so
Okay.
much.
Thank you.
All right. Mr. Manager, looking at the schedule, we're ahead of schedule. I think that's great. The next thing on our list is discussion. Is that what you want to do?
Correct.
Okay. Commissioners, we're ready for discussion. You guys want to talk about the process, what we're doing, if it's valuable? I did send Eileen some questions earlier about overtime. I'm not sure, and yet I know obviously public safety has a lot of overtime that they are charging to the county. Are these other departments doing overtime broadly, like we saw in the sheriff's office and in the fire department?
I imagine there would be some that do. I mean, like corrections.
Yeah, I think the jail deputy, the jail deputies, the
24/7, potentially, yeah.
okay. Those are areas I think I like to get a handle on that. But in terms of whether that overtime is actually budgeted anywhere, is that? Let me ask Lindsay that question. If we anticipate a lot of overtime, like say take the sheriff's office, for example, is that in the budget request?
It is, but because we give departments flat budget targets, what we've had for a number of years now are overtime amounts that are flat with basically where we were in 2012, but adjusted for compensation pools. And so all of the overtime that folks have been supporting is really through their salary savings that they've got from having, full-time positions that just aren't filled. And so the dollars that would have been spent on that position instead go to overtime for someone who's actually there working those extra hours.
Okay, so thinking that through for just a minute, if it cost, again, I look at some overtime for some individual employees. Maybe it's wrong for me to think this way, but there's so much overtime being paid out, you could pay for another FTE. I mean, for one employee's working enough overtime, you can pay for another entire FTE. And I have to assume that we're getting less hours out of the person that's working the overtime, less hours overall being delivered in what they're providing for the county, but it's costing us more potentially. So I guess I'd like to get a fair amount of analysis on our overtime, where we're at. Certain of those departments, it seems like there's what I'm looking at so far. Again, I've just had a few emails so far, but it seems like there's a lot of overtime.
And you're right, there is. In 2015, just in our county tax funds, we spent just less than $5 million on overtime costs alone. A lot of that driver is in the sheriff's office, 911, some of the fire, but that wouldn't be included in this number. But we can certainly do some analysis. I know 911 did some of that, sheriff did some of that in talking in their decision packages.
If we have held positions that are not being funded, but they're filling those positions with other staff. I think we need to understand that better.
Okay.
I mean, I think the intent of holding positions open is that those departments would just be short of manning. But if they're filling that position other ways, I guess that's really not probably not the smartest thing to do here.
When I get that information, I'll get with you, because I have a request out for that.
Okay. Well, I'll be thinking about that more. Commissioners, any other thoughts or questions? I guess not. So just on our schedule real quickly, next thing we have for budget hearing would be tomorrow at 9 a.m. with the district attorney. And before that, we have an en banc with Wichita at 7:30. And that's in the city building. First floor?
Correct.
Okay. We'll find it when we get there.
Chambers off of the main meeting hall in the box behind
All right.
it.
I guess without further ado, we're dismissed. See you tomorrow.